Last night's episode, to me, I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys, it was a winner last night. Ladies Who List, to me, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys, I gave this episode 4 of Ladies Who List, season 1, I'm giving this episode a 10 out of 10. If you did not see this episode, you are missing out. They were selling houses. You had Robin fighting to keep a client who basically told her, you need to, manage your emotions better, girl. Like, you need to get a hold onto things. And he taught her a very valuable lesson to the tune of a huge missed opportunity, okay? That was a real lesson right there. And it's very rare that you see a client come in and just kind of wreck shop like that. You had the slow burn of the CRISTYL, Robin, and Kira situation that is very, very interesting to me. And to add to this mix, you have this notion of, is it low down and dirty to try to take someone else's agent? Like, I mean, you had two situations where you had this issue. You had one where Robin realizes that another agent has taken her listing and using her videos and then gets the sale. And then you had CRISTYL trying to woo Kira away from Tiffany. It was just like, it was wild to me. And I slowly realized, I was like, oh, this episode is good. It was just, it really did. It gave me everything that I needed. And I have to tell you guys, last night's episode reminded me of old school Housewives. Like when Housewives first came on, and it was really about the relationships, what the ladies were doing and how they were mixing it up with each other. And they got real issues with each other. I mean, it's some real stuff that's actually happening. And we're getting that with the backdrop of selling houses all at the same time. I'm telling y'all, this show, it gives. If you ain't on it, you need to get on it fast. And we're just going to kind of go through the episode at this point. And I have to tell you guys, again, Monday at 1 p.m., unless something changes, we will be speaking with Tiffany, the closing attorney, on Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So be sure to tune in for that because it will be live, okay? Now, we pick up with Kiana and Robin discussing what happened with all of the money, okay? For those of you guys who are unfamiliar, Kiana, let me give you exactly who the players are. Kiana is a real estate broker. She was trying to work with Robin while she was building her brokerage, and she had 26 listings. Robin, or so she thought at the time, was trying to charge her $500 per listing in order to hold it while she built her brokerage. Otherwise, she was going to lose her license. Well, she was going to be without a license or something like that. Now, that was an issue for Kiana because Kiana felt like, yo, listen, I'm trying to build over here. We supposed to be cool. Why are you going to charge me $500 per listing? That's $13,000. I don't appreciate that. And now you calling me in, asking me to build this mega agency with you. I don't know if I want to do it. So they sitting down and they having a ponderosa about that. Okay. Now, Kiana thought it was $500 per contract. Robin tells her, no, it wasn't $500 per contract. It was just a $500 flat fee. This is a major, major miscommunication here, okay? Robin says she would never do that to somebody else. And she also says that, Kiana should have asked follow-up questions if she felt like Robin was trying to do her wrong. I don't know what I would do because Kiana seems to believe that she heard specifically $500 per listing. I might have had to say at the time, girl, did you tell me $500 per listing? I need to know, because I mean, $500 per listing and $500 flat fee is very different. Who do y'all believe in this scenario? Do you believe that Kiana really heard? And I'm sure she heard what she heard, right? But do you believe that Robin meant 500 flat fee, or do you believe she really meant $500 per listing? It was very interesting to me. I was like, you mean to tell me all of this chaos could have been resolved with a quick phone call? A quick phone call? That was it? Baby. So anyway, at the end of the day, right, I felt like, now say what now? You want how much? I just need to make sure I heard you correctly. Okay? Because when I say no, I want to know what I'm saying no to specifically. Okay? Now, if Robin did indeed change her story, it worked, okay? She could have, honestly, it could have been $500 flat fee. It could have been that. We don't really know, but we only can go by what Kiana is telling us and what she felt like she heard. But Kiana is willing to take the L in this situation in order to let the friendship rock and for them to kind of start anew, right? So we're going to leave it at that. That's it for now. Tiana, who we left last time, this is Tiana. We left Tiana last time talking with Michael, who is trying to sell his condo. Now, she tells him the condo should sell for 1.5. Now, the problem is Michael feels like he paid 1.2 for it, but he feels like he put over $300,000 into it. And honestly, she feels like, yo, like you put too much money into it. I mean, and he's thinking it's supposed to sell for like $3 million. This was a very big lesson for me because as someone who does not know as much about real estate and is learning about the real estate, let me tell y'all something. I'll tell y'all later. I'm gonna tell you on Monday. But anyway, what I will say is you gotta understand what the value of the market is in the area that you are working with. So you got to know at some point in time, like it may not even be worth you putting $300,000 into a home or into a condo if the value of everything around you is low and it don't make no sense. You got to make sure that that's correct. Anyway, they decided to table that for later because she know at some point the value could go up for that area and she want to be the one to get that listing. Now, Kiana meets up with CRISTYL and Kira. She wants to know if they had any reconciliation with Robin. CRISTYL says she's still processing everything, and Kira feels like Robin was immature. Kiana lets the ladies know, well, you know, I moved on with Robin, so we're good now. For those of you guys who are wondering, this is Kira, okay, and this is CRISTYL. Now, CRISTYL doesn't believe that Kiana and Robin have actually squashed their issues, but probably because she ain't squashed her issues with Robin. But anyway, she says she's never going to mention the word trigger again, and I would definitely have to agree. Please don't ever mention it again to anyone in your life, CRISTYL. Thank you. Kiana lets her know that Tiffany, she had a conversation with Tiffany, and that Tiffany feels like she would never chastise her friend like that in a group of people and tell her that she's being triggered over and over again the way that CRISTYL did to Robin, and that she would have pulled her friend to the side. Now, CRISTYL is annoyed, okay? CRISTYL is annoyed. She's annoyed that Tiffany, who she does not know that well, is trying to butt into her business with Robin because CRISTYL and Robin have had a very long friendship, and Tiffany does not know Robin all that well. Okay, so she's annoyed. Now I have to point something out to you guys. Tiffany is a closing attorney. CRISTYL is also a closing attorney. So what that means is that real estate agents will go to either one of them, at least in the state of Georgia, to finalize their closing with clients. So it behooves both CRISTYL and Tiffany to maintain good relationships with people like Robin, Kiana, Kira, and Tiana. Okay. Now, just for reference, CRISTYL, this closing attorney, typically closes with Robin, but they're not talking right now. Tiffany, this closing attorney, usually has Kira and Tiana in her pocket to close with as well. So I wanted to put that out there for you guys who may be new to this show, so you guys will understand who each person is, because I do understand that it can be rather confusing sometimes for a new show. Anyway, so they just leave it on that CRISTYL is annoyed with Tiffany. Robin is now meeting with her friend Carlos. Robin gets to Carlos's house and she lets us know that she had an argument with Carlos. Robin argued with everybody, okay? I like Robin, but she argues with everybody. You can't be arguing with your clients. So she didn't argue with him. He done left and gone to Puerto Rico when they're supposed to be meeting. So she got to call him on the FaceTime because what she recognized was he had listed his condo under another agent who not on the show. But that agent is using her videos to market the listing. Now, I definitely don't think that's right, because in my mind, the video belongs to Robin. But it is what it is. Robin is on the phone, and this was something I had never seen before. She was literally trying to convince this man to give her the listing back, and he's like, nope. So what she does is, some kind of way, she convinces him to take her out to lunch when he gets back. And I was just thinking to myself, what kind of Jedi mind trick is this? You go from trying to get the listing back to asking him for lunch? You should be taking him out to lunch. That was my thought. But whatever. We'll get back to that later. Meanwhile, the assistant was just in the background cheesing. Tiana and Tiffany go to work out. Tiffany, we learned, is working on the grand opening for her new office. They recap the whole situation with Robin and how Tiffany relates to Robin because they have both dealt with mental health issues. And, you know, she relates to Tiana that they're trying to, you know, that she actually really likes Robin. She specifically tells Tiana she is not trying to close with Robin. She is just getting to know her. And I thought this was very important because what it did is it let us know that for Tiffany, she has boundaries that she's not trying to cross because she knows that Robin typically closes with CRISTYL. So she's not trying to infringe on that. She just wants to be friends with Robin. Tiana then begins to open up about her past. For those of you guys who may not remember Tiana, this is Tiana. She opens up about her past. She lets us know that her mom was a drug addict and her dad really helped raise her and her sisters. And that's how she became the person that she is today. Tiffany then realizes that Robin and Tiana actually have a lot in common based on their issues with their moms. Boom. Okay. Robin then meets with Carlos, the person that had skipped out on her, that gave the listing to somebody else. Honestly, he basically tells her, listen, in this industry, sometimes you're going to have to eat SHIT. And you're going to have to learn how to manage your emotions. And you're going to have to learn how to not be so argumentative. Bottom line. Because he was not going to give that listing back to her. And that listing actually sold for $2.75 million, and it was an all-cash offer. Now, for those of you guys who are unfamiliar with real estate, that is a huge commission for Robin to be missing out on because of her attitude. And he basically tells her to fix it. So that was a huge lesson for her to learn. However, because Carlos does believe in her, he lets her know that he's going to give her all of her future listings. But this is after she tries to convince him that she's building this, big bad new Sell Atlanta agency. And he's like, girl, just do this work yourself. So now she's kind of reconsidering building this big brand with all of these ladies. All right. So then the odd thing is CRISTYL, who is a closing attorney, invites Kira to her office. Kira typically closes with Tiffany. So it's weird that CRISTYL is inviting Kira over to the office. They bond over their relationship issues that they've had and that they've come out of. They also, CRISTYL treats Kira to a 5-star lunch. And she pretty much asks her at the end of this, well, girl, are you going to close with me or not? Because for CRISTYL, she believes that Kira is putting up such high numbers that she can spread her wealth around. Now, I wants to talk to CRISTYL because I wants to understand how she thought this was right. In my mind, okay? How would you think that you was gonna woo her with some fish sticks and champagne when she been closing with Tiffany all this time? You mean to tell me that you thought she was gonna sell her soul for some Branzino? Now, I like some Branzino, and I'm gonna eat the food that you give me, and I'm gonna drink on the champagne too. But at the end of the day, I am loyal. I am loyal. So the last thing that you're gonna get me to do over some Arbor Mist and shrimp cocktails is give my business to somebody else who I'm actually really cool with and who still follows me on social media. Okay? You can't have my business over some fish sticks. You can't. It's not gonna work. And we're in this little group together. Like, how that sound to you? It sounds crazy to me. Meanwhile, okay. Oh, we had a super chat. Thank you so much, Catherine Forehand. I appreciate you. Yes. Thank you for that. Make my day. Now, it's the day of Tiffany's grand opening for her new office. She gives an emotional speech. Kira lets Tiffany know that CRISTYL tried to woo her over the fish sticks. Tiffany feels like, and to be fair, Kira didn't really say she was trying to take my business. She basically just said she brought me to lunch. We had a 5-star lunch over champagne and we bonded. Tiffany just realized that's some low down and dirty stuff, and that's why she didn't invite CRISTYL to the event anyway. Because she don't like how she reacted to Robin, and she felt like CRISTYL is the person that starts all the drama. So she lets Kiana know she ain't invite CRISTYL because she don't really feel her like that. But she did invite Robin. Robin walks over to the girls and wants to take a photo with everybody. But Kira is like, not today, girl, not today. So they take a photo together, the rest of the girls. Kira actually takes the photo. And then when Robin tries to get Kira to in a photo with the rest of the ladies, Kira is like, nah, boo, I'm not gonna do that either. Now, Kiana completely respects what Kira did because Kiana feels like Kira is not gonna be fake to Robin. And Robin and Kiana actually go sit down for a little ponderosa. Now, I'm just gonna refer back to something. Robin and CRISTYL are supposed to be good girlfriends, but they're beefing right now. Okay? So Robin reveals to Kiana that she sent CRISTYL a text message, but she never heard back. Kiana reveals that she's met up with CRISTYL, but she made it seem like she never heard from Robin. Now Robin is like, now say what now? I did not block this girl or nothing like that. But she didn't block her from calling her. Okay, let me put that right there. And then hold on, but this is where it gets crazy. Okay, Robin says to Kiana, well, she met CRISTYL through CRISTYL's boyfriend, and she believes that the only reason that CRISTYL wanted to be her friend was to make sure that Robin was not banging her boyfriend. Now, Robin, I know y'all are not having the best of days. I know you and CRISTYL are not having the best of days. But to say that the only reason that the girl was your friend was because she wanted to make sure you won't have it none with her man. Oh, baby, no. Oh, no. Unless you really believe that and you're ready to end this friendship altogether, that's really the only time I feel like you should release that bit of information, okay? Otherwise, that was something that you should keep to yourself, okay? Thank you for the super chat, Espar. I appreciate you. Now, and that's when I realized, I was like, oh, snap, this is getting crazy. So then, Kiana is like, okay, so these are some red flags I'm seeing from Robin. Because Robin is like, this is why I don't have relationships with other women. Kiana's like, red flag number one. When Robin says that the only reason that CRISTYL was her friend was to make sure she wasn't trying to bang her boyfriend, that's red flag number two. And Kiana's like, I don't think that she would do that to you. I don't see her as being that type of person. And then Robin continues to go on about, you know, CRISTYL is a sorority girl. She's used to having a whole gaggle of friends and not being able to pick and choose who to be loyal to, when and where, and whoop-de-whoop-de-woo. And Kiana is just sitting there thinking, I'm sure Kiana is saying to herself, ooh, girl, she really not gonna like it when I go back and tell her. But anyway, we ain't seen Kiana do that just yet. But if they any good on this show, somebody gonna tell her to go back and tell CRISTYL what Robin said, because that's just gonna make for a good show. Anyway, Kiana tells her y'all need to talk. And so then somehow they get on to Kira. And Kira not wanting to take any photos with Robin. Before that happens though, let me say this. Kiana tries her best to see both sides to the Robin and CRISTYL argument. And she tells Robin where she went wrong too. And so she tries to convince them to talk, but then they get on to Kira, the whole Kira situation. And at that point, Robin is like, get over here, Kira. And she calls Kira over and the episode ends. Now, I'm going to say this, and I talked about it a bit yesterday. Before I had said that the unfollow on Instagram can be a little immature. We talked about it with the whole Garcelle and Sutton and Erica Jane situation. But I will say though that to a lot of people, social media is really it's a social indicator on how people feel about you, specifically people that you are really interacting with. So the unfollow does mean something. So I get why Kira is a little bothered by that, because it was an intentional action. If you unfollow somebody, it's usually intentional, unless Instagram just doing some crazy things. Okay. But it is a very sort of Gen Z type of thing where social media matters a lot more to people who are a bit younger. Also, I do want to acknowledge one thing. Kira is doing the doggone thing, because if CRISTYL is trying to sort of poach her from Tiffany, that does tell us that Kira is putting up some serious numbers, and she has sold a home to Alex. I think his name is Alex Good Energy or something like that. He's a trucking guru on Instagram, if you follow him. And I was like, wow, like he did the doggone thing with his house, and that he added more too. So Kira she's clearly a beast at what she does. So she might be a little younger in terms of how she looks at social media, but she clearly is doing the thing when it comes to selling houses. So I don't know. If you unfollow me, I'm okay with it, because I don't really look at social media like that. I don't take it that personally, but some people do.